Hi everybody, I'm hoping you are enjoying your course. My name is Jesper Rosenmeier and I'm a veterinarian from Denmark. I work at a clinic in Denmark where we are 8 veterinarians and 3 nurses, and we are all working only with equine dentistry. In this video I'm going to introduce you to primarily the motorized system from Dearson. We also have hand floats, but I'm focusing on the motorized system here. I got my first motorized system from Dearson around 10 years ago, and I have been a fan ever since. That's also why I said yes when I last year got the opportunity to be a distributor for Dearson. And this year I got the opportunity to be a partner in Dearson, and of course I also said yes to that. And that's the reason why I'm standing before you here today. So one of our main products in Dearson is this motorized system that you can see I have here. You just put it around your waist, and you have a battery here, and you have a controller here, and then you just connect the battery to the controller with this plug. Works quite simple. There's a button here where you push it down to 1, and then you set the speed on this one. So when you use it, there's different hand pieces, but the main hand pieces are these two, the Unidisc hand piece and the Apple Core hand piece. So when you connect them, I just normally turn the speed to 1 and just put this inside. When we are doing equine dentistry, people have different preferences. I normally work at speed 2, 3, maybe sometimes 4, but I seldom go above that. This controller has 9 speeds, and that's because you can also use it for sectioning. But when you're working on the higher speeds, in my opinion, it's too fast, and I think it's a bit too much for the system also, because it's not meant to work on a high speed all the time. That is mostly meant for sectioning. But if you prefer it, you can also get a foot pedal to this system. Looks like this. In the back of the controller here, you see I have this plug for the battery, and then you can get a plug above this where you can put in the foot pedal. The foot pedal works as an on-off switch. That's meaning that if you set this at speed 3, and then you push this to number 2, and then you control it with the foot pedal. So the foot pedal is an on-off switch where you set the speed here. So the two different hand pieces, the Unidisc hand piece and the Apple Core hand piece. The Unidisc hand piece is curved. I'll just put this cable in the belt clip here. The Unidisc hand piece is curved, and you can change this to 4 different positions depending on where and how you're working in the mouth. The Apple Core hand piece is fixed like this. Both the Unidisc hand piece and the Apple Core hand piece is made with water cooling if you prefer that, but I think most people work without water cooling. I did work with water cooling, but a couple of years I stopped, and yeah, depending on how you prefer your work. But if you come a little bit closer, we have a variety of burrs down here. They have different shapes and sizes, and they all go on the Apple Core hand piece. It's very easy to change these burrs, so that means you can work with several burrs on the same hand piece. Some of the burrs are rounded like this, and some of them are like this. These ones we call the dual burrs because you can use them for the cheek teeth, but you can also use this part to round the canines. And as with all the teeth, when we're rounding the canines, we have to be careful not exposing the pulps. But as you see, it's different sizes and different shapes. In my hands, I prefer this small Apple Core burr with this rounded here, and then I really like this miniature button burr. This miniature button burr also goes on the apple core handpiece like this, and you can see it doesn't take up very much space. That means that it's very good when you're working in the back of the mouth, especially when you have hooks at the upper and lower 11s, but you can also use it in front of the mouth, and you can use it when you have ETRs and stuff like that. So what I do normally, I have two hand pieces. So one with this burr on and one with this burr on, and then I don't have to spend time changing them around. But of course that's depending on how much money you want to spend, and maybe especially in the beginning when you are getting a new system. The Unidisc handpiece has this disc, it's lying here. It's very easy to change. There's just a screw here that you unscrew, and then you put the other disc on. Takes a couple of minutes, and then you can change it. As I said before, people, they have different preferences when they are working, and that's just how it is. When working with incisors, I have normally just used the Unidisc handpiece for a long time, but I just started feeling like I was a bit far away from the incisors when I was working. So I got this Parme Unidisc handpiece instead. It is basically the same as the other one, just a lot shorter. So then when I'm working on the incisors, I'm close to them and it's easier to control. We also have this one, if you like to work with this one, it goes on the apple core handpiece. One of the good things about this one is that it's the same top piece here as the Unidisc handpiece, so if there is a problem with one of them, you can change them around. This is the battery. The battery is around 1.1 kilograms. In my hand, this new battery, it lasts for around 50 horses. I normally work with 2 batteries, just because I find it nice. So I run one battery completely out, and then I have a charged one in the car. If you don't want to do that, it's fairly easy to put just a little bit power on the battery. So if you run out of power when you're doing one horse, you can plug it in for a few minutes, and then you will have power to finish, and then you can charge it in between the horses. So it's really nice, this battery, and it has a lot of power. When we are working with equine dentistry, it's crucial for us that we have our equipment all the time. And that's also why in Dearson we have put a lot of effort into making this system as simple as possible, so you don't need to send it to service all the time. So I've taken the apple core handpiece apart here, and you can come a little bit closer and look maybe. So this here is the shaft itself. This inner sheet goes inside, and then you take this inner handpiece cable and put it in, and then you have this insert that goes into the bottom and hold everything together. And we can change this insert so you can work with other systems. That means if you have another system and want to change to Dearson, we can change this insert so you can do a gradually change. And this is the top head. So this means that if you have a problem with this cable, you know, you've been using this cable for a lot of time and then it breaks, if you just have another spare cable with you, you can change it within 5-10 minutes, depending on how many times you have used it. So that's also why I'm advising you to have some of these spare parts with you. It doesn't take us a lot of time to send you a new one, but as we all know, when we're working with this, time is money, and when you don't have your equipment, you're losing money. And it doesn't take a lot of money to have these things around. When you're working, it's very important that you keep your system clean. It can take water, of course, because otherwise we couldn't work in the mouth. You shouldn't keep this handpiece soaked in water, but you could put it into a bucket and then just brush it afterwards. So what I do when I'm working in the stable, sometimes during the time when I'm floating one mouth in the horse, I'm using this brush just to clean this disc a little. Then often when I finish up in the stable, I take everything and just brush it over with this brush, and then I take an alcohol swab and just run it over like this, and this just keeps it nice and clean. And when we get things for service, we can easily see if people have been doing this regularly, or if they just use it and then just put it into the car. So if you want to keep your system for a long time without having it for service or without changing the parts, it's crucial that you take a little bit care of it. I can say that the system that I have now, I have been using that for around 700 horses, and in that time I have changed the inner cable in one of the hand pieces, and I have changed this outer cable once. Then I have changed, of course, the apple core head and the unidisc head. It's difficult to say how often you need to change these heads, because depending on how the horses are that you're working with, how much work you have to do, and then it's also down to your preferences. So in general, I think I aim for using this for around 800 horses. I sometimes consider doing less horses on one disc, because the sooner you change it, the more easy it will work again. And then sometimes I forget how many I've done, and then it goes a little bit longer. So I think you get a really good value for money with this. And value for money, that's also why I wanted to join Dearson, both as a distributor and as a partner, because I think in Dearson we are very fair. We give a really good product, a really quality product, and as a really fair price, and especially that you can do all this service yourself. It just keeps the cost down. So mainly the only thing where you actually have to send it for service is if your controller has a problem, or if there is a problem between the battery and the controller, and it can be difficult for you to find out what part that has the problem. But yeah, this is some of the main things for the motorized system, and works really nice. So I hope that you will use it sometime, and I hope you found this nice. It was nice talking to you. Please enjoy your course. Thank you.